Good morning. So, Gina, why are you smiling? Because the pieces of the puzzle. Um, that's okay, you all. They cannot stop the disclosure of the UFOs that are here, man-made and of perhaps interplanetary and or of another realm. They're not going to be able to stop it. And if you look around, you'll notice that it all adds up. And let's talk about President Donald J. Trump. Let's talk about him. He is not liked. He is hated. They're doing everything within their power to stop him. It's all this talk about these files, these files, these files. Here's what's clicking in Gina Honey's head right here. I watched a few of the speakers at, what's that guy? Greer, is that his name? Who did the press briefing thing for 3 hours? I listened to 3 speakers. That's all it took. It's all it took for me within my being to that light to get a little bit brighter. What they described that happened during their military career and on their missions, and what they saw in the documents to back it up, it does make sense. I'm gonna go out there on a big long branch. Okay, I'm gonna crawl out on a branch like I did when I was like maybe 5 years old, way off the ground, way out there, just to retrieve that bottle rocket with the big parachute. In those files, it's UFO stuff. UFO. I feel within my being that he's going to blow the lid off of what has been happening, both man-made things like that and the real, otherworldly things. He's going to blow the lid off of it, you all. And that's why they're doing everything within their power to stop him. That's what I feel within my being. They can't stop me because they did not put me in this position. They did not give me this platform. They don't have the authority to close my mouth because my mouth will continue to open as long as it's meant to open. They're not going to stop it. Just think about it. He formally formed the Space Force, and for good reason. For good reason. Did they not want to stop it? Somebody wanted to shut it down. Why did they want to shut it down? Think up there. And think of what's been going on. He said he was going to drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. Gina, what are you talking about? You're talking politics. No, I'm talking about UFOs. I'm talking about extraterrestrial, interdimensional. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about demons. I'm talking about angels. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you to the individual. She dropped the link on here. Annie something. Thank you, Annie, because I did. I sat right in this chair. Boom, with my little laptop, boom, and I went to Steven Greer's thing. I saw him speak. He's lost a little bit of weight, but then I listened to one speaker, then I thought, well, then I listened to another one, and then another one, and then another one, and it all adds up. It all adds up. Get him out, get rid of him because he's going to expose what's happening, you all. Fake alien invasion? I think you could say yes and you could say no because we've got stuff like that. Some of it is real and some of it isn't. Some of it may be pretend. This one guy was speaking. He was in the Marines and he was a team of 6. It was when 2009 occurred. You all, this is really, really important. It all adds up. It's when the Indonesia thing happened. Devastation was all around. They dropped the team of 6 with their marine gear. They were told to get up on that mountain so they could get a better view because they had the cameras, they had it all going on. They did. They got up there, and when they looked below, they saw this aircraft hovering over the trees. It was a smoky, dark gray aircraft. They saw some vehicles down there too. As they descended down into that area, there were American-looking men with military clothing on, with machine guns, with their artillery was far more advanced than what they gave the Marines. They had these 2 pickup trucks right there. And in the back of these pickup trucks, there were these crates. And they also saw these oxygen tanks. They thought, now why are there oxygen tanks unless there's some human smuggling taking place, human trafficking? The soldiers there pointed their guns at them, said, drop your guns. They took all of their guns, they took all of their ammunition, they dropped them, they patted every single one of them down. And at this time, the UFO, it was a UFO and it had panels. The panels, I can describe the panels. The panels look like that Simon thing, that little thing that lit up the lights, blue, red, green, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? I think this is the story of this one Marine. He saw them. And there was also, I think he said, like a solid black strip in between it. A solid black strip. And it lowered itself a little lower. The gray shape, it was cylindrical, but it had that. If anyone knows about that, you all. So they were told then at gunpoint, turn around, turn around. So they did exactly what they said. They turned around, 6 Marines who were sent there to see what was happening. And as they were turned around, the men, who they wanted to shoot them anyhow, they put their gear back on them, and not how they wanted it. They put all their ammunition back in their pockets. And the one Marine who was telling about it, he said they put his strap on, and it cut his neck. And they were told to go back up that hill and leave. And they followed them up there at gunpoint. And he heard one of them say, you know, we just might as well do something, powder them, and get rid of them. But they thought they were goners. But they made their way back to the ground level. They got onto, I think it was a ship. And there was this man looking at him thinking, what are you doing here? Because obviously he wanted them killed, obviously. And they were shocked that this guy was saying that. You all, if you're just tuning in, they're not going to stop this disclosure of the UFOs, whether they're real or whether they're man-made. They're not going to stop it. It all adds up. They get on the ship and they're told to go up to this other deck, go see the admiral. And they were told they were not to speak of what they seen. They were forced to sign the disclosure statements, the top secret SCI, the things like that, you know. You sign it, and keep your mouth shut. And so they did it. And a few days later, this one guy, he said, let me make sure I got the story right. He was took up to this room. I could have 2 stories in one. He was told that he needs to go up here to the whatever floor and, listen to this guy up there, this admiral. There's a man in blue. And he had no military insignia on him, but he had an Air Force blue. And he said when he walked in the room, it felt really creepy, really creepy. And he was forced to sign something again, and he was told, do not speak of it. Do not speak of it at all. He never saw this person. That was the end of him. That was the end of him, and he was very descriptive in what he said. And this other person, his dad worked in the underground facilities. He was a young kid. A young kid. Thank you for your comments. And you know, the government contracting and stuff. This is where you didn't need no approval to do work on these things. These people wanted you to do something, you go do it. He said he remembers going down this he went with his dad and his dad's handlers. He thought it was his friends. They go out on hunting trips and stuff like that. And so one day they got in this van. There was no windows or anything. They went to this like dump-like thing. I forget where it was at. It looked like a city dump. But then they went through some area of great big opening. They went into this shaft. They got on this elevator or thing. They went way underground is where they went. And they were warned, do not turn your head to the left. Do not turn your head to the right. You look straight in front of us or you will be shot dead. And they had armed men next to them. So this little boy, around a teenager, he's walking with his dad and these other guys. And it opens up into a great big underground cavern. And he sees this massive stone structure levitating above the ground is what he sees. And I'm thinking he could, I don't know if this is the guy that could feel the humming on the inside of him. No, this is another guy. They seen this levitating structure. And he wanted to see how was it staying up there, because it was solid like rock or marble or something. I don't know what it was. It was dark gray, granite looking or something. So he pretended that he needed to tie his shoe, and he bent down and he saw underneath. But then he was nudged by the person in the back, get up. So they went further. His dad did the whatever. And they came walking back through, and they told them, they took them in some kind of room. You cannot speak of what you saw down here. You cannot speak. You cannot. And they wanted the father and the son to sign a disclosure, and he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. This guy was a millionaire, he said. His son did. And this boy, as he was older, he was in the I guess he was in the Marines too. But it comes to find out, his dad got a phone call one day, and they told him and his son to report to this one room where his dad used to work or something like that. And there was nothing left, not even a pencil. Everything his dad had worked on, everything, it was all gone. They literally destroyed him in one day. He became poverty-ridden, and he became homeless over time. He didn't want nothing else to do with his son. And his son, you know, he grew up and stuff like that, and that traumatized him. It really did. He kept his mouth shut. And when he got out of the military in 2013, or I don't know when he got out, but he was ashamed. He did not have the strength and courage to speak up and stand up. He became homeless. He let his hair grow all long. He let his beard grow all the way down to his stomach until he was rescued by a kind soul. And he was one of the speakers too. And he said he's not going to keep his mouth shut, and he's going to tell the truth. And he did. He told what he saw. And there were other people, when they saw like the triangular shape, they were the cube things. And this one guy who saw it, he went up to this ship, and it had like a shark skin feel to it. He looked on the inside of it and had some kind of electronic stuff. He was with his wife. He's the one who suffered brain injury in the battlefield. And he was like this when he was talking, suffered brain injury. He went up in the ship. As he got closest, he could stick his hand in the resonance. You could feel the thing going, with every single cell in his body, he could feel a. Next thing you know, he's laying on a table, looking up at a white light. His wife is on another table, looking up at a white light. And it was plasma also involved, you all. This was his thing. He literally, he was traumatized. He too was told, don't you speak of it. Don't you speak of it. He remembers seeing like a white light in the sky, and this was at Fort Ord when he was stationed there. There was a big white light in the sky. He said that looks like a door opening. He said there was a great big massive ship cloaked in the sky. It was massive. His job when he was at Fort Meade to, just like, not Fort Meade, Fort Ord in California. I actually went there and stayed in those barracks there when we first got married in Fort Ord. It was a dump. It was a dump by then. This was in 1988 or 87, whenever I got married. It was a dump. It had a really dark feeling. And that was at the Presidio in Monterey. But the guy saw this thing up in the sky, and he remembers it. It was Raytheon. It was Raytheon, the triangular like thing with the lights on it. So this is wild. It's wild. It's so wild, but they cannot stop the disclosure. And let's talk about President Donald J. Trump. They hate him. They hate him. They're doing everything within their power to silence him. What you see going on, it's got to take place. You all don't get caught up in emotion. Okay, he's a big boy. He can take care of himself. He can. Whoever's behind him too, he can take care of himself. He's still here, right? He's still here. No, he said he's going to drain the swamp. He's going to drain the swamp, and they don't like that. They don't like that. Gina, what are you saying? I'm talking about UFOs. He's going to blow the lid. That's what I feel within my spirit. What he knows is with those documents and stuff, he's going to blow the lid off of what's been happening. The UFO disclosure, everything. He made sure he got that Space Force up and activated as a separate branch. He made sure he did it, you all. He did. Gina, you really going out there on a long branch. Well, when I watched that thing, something clicked on the inside of me, like, I see what's happening. I do. I see what's happening. Now, this is just Gina, mere speculating. I'm entitled to my own hypothesis, but I think it really does kind of make sense since I came into this arena back in 2018. I did. And then, yeah, Gina, what about those ships you're sharing? You think they're man-made? No, I don't. I don't think they're man-made. I don't. They're light ships. But Gina, they're evil. I don't feel that. I don't feel that within my being. I don't. I wouldn't even want to. Well, if I could not handle the energy. I'm a spiritual person. There's no way I would be able to handle the energy. When I saw the dark, shadowy, black stuff, when I was working my second shift job during the big storm, the sky was like turned black and smoky gray, and those dark ships were there. And the great big feathery thing looked like a great big massive dark angel in the sky silhouetted with the that black stuff, like the graphene or things like that. Oh, that energy from that sent me back into the building. You think I'm going to sit and document something like that when I don't like that energy? No, I'm not. The light ships, they're light ships. That's all I call them, light ships. I was supposed to document them. Okay, I was. When I first started doing it, I found myself in my dream state up in a great big massive ship for 2 weeks, looking out great big massive windows, taking pictures over and over and over and over. And when I'd wake up, I'd look in the mirror. I had dark circles under my eyes. I was exhausted every single night. And that's what I feel within my being. Gina, honey, you're MK Ultra. No, I'm not MK Ultra. I'm not MK Ultra. You're MK Ultra, and you've been brainwashed. You've been programmed to think that everybody who thinks against a certain resonancy that you have is like that. No, listen, you all, it adds up. They cannot stop the disclosure. I didn't know about Steven Greer. To begin with, I really don't watch his stuff, but I looked at him from time to time, and I thought, well, I'm not vibrating on his frequency. I'm not. I just admit it. I said it. That's why I wouldn't really mention him. I don't vibrate on his frequency, but when I looked at him speaking this morning for the bit that he did, and he, pledged allegiance to the Constitution, whatever, so help me God. And what he wants them to do, he wants them to come clean. Come clean with what's happening in the world, because it's destroyed many lives. There's missing people. People are being abducted. And there are great big military powers involved. and it's the dark. The dark has infiltrated every branch of government, every single type of military service, every branch of military service it has. And you can say that in all the other countries of the world. The dark, the demons, the bad entities, they've infiltrated it. But they haven't taken it completely over. They haven't. I'm not going to make this long at all. I thought, well, how am I going to say this? I'm going to drag it out. No, I'm not going to drag it out. I can't keep my mouth shut, you all. I cannot keep my mouth shut. Watch that video of his. In fact, I really do want to play sections of it, just so you can hear. So if you say, Gina, honey, I'm not going to sit there for 3 hours, I'm not either. Okay, I'm not. I'm going to play some sections that spoke to me on it. I think I'll do that in the story time with Gina tonight. I do. If I can refrain, if I can keep myself from speaking up anymore, but it just clicked. It did. And so when you order the FBI or whoever to literally find something on him, find something to stop him, to shut his mouth. Okay, to shut his mouth, because he's a threat. He is. He's a threat. He's a threat to the deep state. Gina, don't you know by opening your mouth, you are in danger? I've been in danger the moment that I was born on this earth. Okay, so have you. You've been in danger. You're not living in the world that you think, but you've been protected. I've been protected. I have been protected, you all. Otherwise, you would not see me on here. Someone's watching out for me, maybe a whole lot of someone. I have something that I have to do, and my time is not up. It's not up yet. Even, I really do feel, if you watched that video of Cancun last night with the big old thing around the sun, it was really exciting. I'm not up. I'm not done saying whatever I'm supposed to say. I have noticed that there has been different levels of documenting when I first started off. I will admit to it, it's like different levels. It's like you start at the bottom, you slowly work your way up. Work your way up, Gina. That's what I'm doing, you all. And the best thing about it, I get to see people from all over the world, make new friends. That's the best thing. It is, you all. Don't give up. They're not going to stop it. They're not. And I think it's good what Dr. Steven Greer is doing. It's not easy. Of course, he did it with the press club, but that's great, you all. It really is. The lid's going to get blown off. And when it gets blown off, we're in big, big trouble, because it's like you have literally pulled the lid off the Pandora's box. You have literally stuck something in there and stirred up a hornet's nest. You have literally opened a gigantic can of worms. That's really what it is. I'm going to go. I am. I'm going to go. It all adds up. It adds up. It does. Makes sense to me. Makes total sense. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world, hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Well, Gina, what do you think about the Anunnaki and stuff? Oh, I'm sure they're here too. I am. I'm just speaking about one specific area. One specific area. It's like the pieces literally connected. It's like that in that one area. Now, there are other areas that are tied into this area. I haven't been led to say anything about them. They haven't come into my view yet. I'm still going down this road called life on this timeline of Earth. They have not passed in front of me yet, just like you all. Please give this video a thumbs up, you all. It's getting real. It is. Love you.